Superman, the hero who inspires hope, justice, and compassion. But what if his story was different? What if his journey began not as a child learning humanity's values, but as an alien adult hardened by injustice? In Absolute Superman, DC reimagines the Man of Steel in a way we've never seen before. A powerful savior shaped by the harsh realities of Krypton, wielding justice with brutal force. Act 1. Krypton's Cruel Society. In the Absolute Universe, Krypton isn't a utopia of advanced science and wisdom. It's a society ruled by a rigid caste system, where your role is determined at birth. Jor-El and Lara, Superman's parents, aren't high-ranking scientists or political leaders. They belong to the Labor Guild, the lowest tier of Kryptonian society. Jor-El and Lara have spent their lives enduring oppression, watching the elites thrive while they toil in servitude. They know Krypton's destruction is imminent, but their warnings are dismissed by the ruling class. Their love for their son, Kal-El, compels them to act. In their final moments, they send him away, not as a beacon of hope for another world, but as a defiant act against the unjust system that condemned them. This Superman doesn't come from a legacy of privilege or idealism. He comes from struggle, pain, and a deep understanding of systemic inequality, a foundation that shapes his every action when he arrives on Earth. Act 2. Arrival on Earth as an adult. Unlike the classic Superman story, Kal-El's ship doesn't crash in Kansas, and he isn't raised by the kind-hearted Kents. In Absolute Superman, he arrives on Earth as an adult, fully aware of his Kryptonian heritage and the injustices his family faced. There's no time to learn humanity's values or form bonds with its people. Instead, he lands in the middle of a chaotic, fractured world. Kal-El's first encounter with Earth isn't one of welcome. He sees a planet riddled with corruption, war, and greed. He sees echoes of Krypton's caste system in the disparities between the powerful and the powerless. For this Superman, there's no question of what needs to be done. With his immense power, he decides to reshape Earth into a better, fairer world by any means necessary. Act 3. The Brutal Protector. This Superman doesn't hesitate. When he sees dictators oppressing their people, he doesn't negotiate, he annihilates them. When he faces criminals harming the innocent, there are no arrests or trials, only finality. His actions are swift, decisive, and often brutal. Kal-El's mantra is simple: injustice must be eradicated, no matter the cost. But his methods spark fear as much as admiration. To the downtrodden, he's a savior who delivers justice where governments and heroes have failed. To the powerful, he's a terrifying force who refuses to compromise. As his legend grows, so does the debate. Is he a hero saving the world, or a god imposing his will on humanity? Act 4. A boy raised on Krypton. The biggest twist in Absolute Superman #1? Kal-El doesn't leave Krypton as a baby. Instead, we see him as a young boy, running to his parents, living a childhood on his home planet. For the first time, Superman's relationship with Krypton isn't a distant memory. It's a lived experience. He grows up knowing his parents, Jor-El and Lara, and seeing firsthand the struggles of their world. This shift adds layers to Superman's character. He's no longer just the last son of Krypton. He's a boy shaped by its culture, its class divisions, and its impending doom. This gives him a stronger connection to his heritage than we've ever seen before, making his story not just one of survival, but one of carrying forward the values of a lost world. Conclusion. In Absolute Superman #1, DC dares to ask, what if Superman's story started differently? What if he grew up on Krypton, surrounded by the struggles and values of his birth parents? This bold reimagining doesn't just change his origin, it deepens it, giving us a Superman who is more connected to his heritage, more layered, and ultimately more human. What do you think of this new take on Superman's origins? Does it add to his story, or do you prefer the classic version? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the Absolute Universe and beyond.